Welcome and thank you for tuning in to Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. The following content may involve explicit language and materials, so listener discretion is advised. And welcome back, everybody. We are wrapping it up with part 2, going over alien abductions and the book, the phenomena in general, anything that we can think of that's extraterrestrial, with Leslie and Stephen Shaw, again, authors of Who They Are and What They're Up To. Again, please go back, listen to part 1, so that way you know where we're going, because it's starting off hard, it's starting off heavy, and we are just getting right into it. So with that being said, let's enjoy the ride. I have a fake belly button. My belly button is not real. It is not what I was born with. So if they're used to going into people through their belly buttons,
that would confuse them, yeah.
And they saw mine's not hooked up right, because like I can't even go get it pierced because I have to go to a specialist because they made me a fake belly button. Not only that, but the spot right above that they were messing with, above my weird ass belly button, is where I just had my appendix taken out last year. It's the only scar I have left on my stomach for the most part. I used to have a bunch. But now, and it's like real thick and I can't get it to like thin out or whatever. But I just thought it was weird because it was literally like whatever their little beam thingy was, it was like in, and it just traced right where that thing was, and it closed it back up. And when I got up, I was like, oh my gosh, like I was like kind of feeling around. I was like, that's so weird. Nothing feels wrong, but I was so sick to my stomach. When I got up, I literally felt like Tasmanian devil was cut loose. So like I have IBS, which also probably does not help my case any.
Right.
But if someone was in there screwing around with my guts, because I've actually been doing really well for months now and not had any issues. And then that happened.
Maybe they fixed it a little bit.
And it was, well, when they were done, it was worse. Like, so I've been doing well. And then it was just like my whole stomach was cramping. And you got to also factor in just another thing that they probably like, what the hell is this thing used for? Mm-hmm. I had a hysterectomy when I was 23. So all of my stuff in there is gone. So these people probably took me for whatever reason and are like, wow, her entryway's jacked. She's missing half the crap inside. Like, what are we going to do with this? Like, we'll stir her around and close her back up. But my whole...
Do you happen to know if you were breastfed?
I think so.
Were you adopted, or do you have like?
No, I got a lot of. Well, I have I have a full sister, full brother, and 2 half sisters.
Was there any pregnancy in association with this? It couldn't have been, right? Because you had had a hysterectomy.
Hysterectomy, yeah, exactly.
Well,
much earlier.
And it was just really weird because it just my whole stomach, like everything, like was cramping so bad inside. I was sick for like 2 days after this happened. And I was like, that's really weird because it's right in the same spot where they were messing in my dream. I'm like, did I imagine that? Was that real?
This sounds like a real encounter. I would say.
Because I was there.
Yeah, in fact, about 6 months ago, 6 months ago, a similar thing happened to me. This was a little bit after we had finished publishing our book, and I was on a table, and there were these tall entities that were going back and forth pretty quickly, and I was literally seeing like a screen of my brain, and these tall entities were saying, this guy knows too much. We have to erase certain parts of his brain. And they're going systematically. Like different parts of my brain, my cerebellum and to my neocortex. And they were literally like zapping me. And I actually wrote it down. I told Leslie about it. I mean, they are not done with me. Okay?
Yeah. I think in your case, Natasha, about 10% of abductees are women who claim that they're taken and impregnated.
See, that's what I was worried about, because I was like, well, I don't even have anything in there. Like, they were probably disappointed. They were like,
exactly.
Shit.
They probably said, well, like maybe that was their plan for you. And then like, oh, wait a minute. She can't get pregnant. So
maybe that's why I felt like things were like, stirring around. Maybe they really were like looking to be like, where is it? Where do we put it?
Where's the womb? Yeah.
Where is the uterus? Maybe that's what it is, because I mean, it literally just felt like somebody just basically gutted me and just threw it all in a big heap.
That sounds like a legitimate
okay. I thought it was so weird. And like I said, I was there. Yeah. They closed it up and then boom, black, and I was back in bed and I'm like, well, that was weird.
I'll find that picture that my this associate of ours spotted and said is what it most looked like, and see if you see the same thing.
Because I can tell you exactly, like I can close my eyes and I can picture exactly what they looked like, exactly where I mean, everything. It's like a picture in my head that's just there. That I just like, I know where everything was at. And it was just so strange. And I was just like, well, that was different.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I was like, well, sorry about ya.
It's just as well then that they didn't impregnate you, because it's not a pleasant experience for the people. They get pregnant.
I have a very poor track record with children. I have one breathing child and 4 pregnancies that did not make it. So,
well, and most of them, they actually steal the fetuses.
Yeah.
So, they impregnate the women, and then 4 months later, they take them again and remove the fetus. And then,
sometimes they'll reduce.
Sometimes they go to a doctor first, before they take the fetus, and the doctor does an ultrasound and proves they're pregnant.
Yeah.
And then after the fetus is stolen, most women, of course, assume they had a miscarriage or sometimes, but they'll go to the doctor. This
literally sounds just like I just watched, which I know is just a TV show, but this is actually exactly what was happening. Resident Alien.
Yeah.
And that's the woman was pregnant.
Very fun. Yeah.
Yeah, the woman was pregnant, and then she just thought it was a false positive. But then the baby's like in the little container, and I was like,
they stole the baby.
Yeah. I was screaming at the TV. And then, it was freaking
this frequently happens to these women multiple times. All their children kind of just stolen away. And when the doctors do an ultrasound later, they discover that they take the placenta and everything. It's like the womb is completely vacuumed out.
They took the whole 9 yards, so it looks like they were never even pregnant in the first place. So.
Yeah.
And then frequently years later, they're taken again and introduced to their hybrid alien offspring.
Their star children or whatever,
So. Yeah. And so this is actually quite common, about 10%. And it sounds to me like they had that plan for you, maybe, and then discovered that we can't do that plan.
That would have been really awkward to explain to my husband, who's also fixed. That could have been very bad. Yeah. I don't think I could probably, I can't even convince him that the ghosts that were turning the treadmills on and brewing coffee out of my Keurig machine when nobody was home, I can't even get him to acknowledge that was not a glitch.
Just tell him it's Immaculate Conception,
Yeah. He knows better than that.
Anyway, do you ever get out of your body either on intentionally or by accident? Because I've been doing that for my whole life, and just a couple months ago it was really funny because I'm a 250-pound guy, and I just don't jump out of bed, right? So this was about 6 o'clock in the morning. It was dark, but I could see where I was, so I just jumped out of bed like I was like 16 years old of age, right? Just jumped out of my bed, walked over to the door to open it, and I couldn't open the door. I thought, what the heck?
He forgot his physical body.
I forgot my physical body, so I said, okay. And so I turned around, I went back to my physical body, and I thought for a second.
Fine.
I thought for a second that, oh my God, did I just die?
Like you're putting your robe on or something.
I kind of pushed on my body a couple times with my astral hand and said, okay.
I
decided to get back in my body. Then I got up my usual way, but it's like this kind of stuff has been, I can do it whenever I really want to, if I just basically do the chanting and whatever it is, like set myself up. But it's like, astral projection it's kind of funny. It's not that hard to do.
It might explain some things. Okay. So I wouldn't say I've had an instance where I have been outside of my body looking at my body per se.
Right.
I usually have a backwards kind of thing. I sometimes get to where it's like the only way I can explain it is think of a display case. Okay. Beauty and the Beast. They have the rose in the glass case.
Right.
There's one of those in my head. And sometimes I get stuck in it. where I am like beating and screaming and trying to talk, and something else is running everything in my body and I have no control.
And you can't get out of the box.
And I can't get out. Nobody can hear me. Nobody can see me. Nothing. So sometimes I get like that. And then sometimes I'll have dreams, which is usually not the greatest, where I am not me. I am out of me and I am in somebody else's body, experiencing things that have not happened yet. Unfortunately, it's usually right before those people die the same way I die with them. It's really kind of weird. Or it's usually with pregnancies and death. So I'll have a dream that I am in somebody's body. I can tell you, hey, you're having a baby, just so you know it's a girl, and they don't even know they're pregnant yet. Or I have one where I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was in the body. I could feel somebody, like I was them. I could look at my own body, like from my view, and know that I was not me, but I know mentally I'm me, and I die. And I'm like, hey, this person's going to die soon. And they usually don't even make it 48 hours and they're gone. Down to where they're at, how they die, things that happen up into the point where they die, like just weird stuff that I don't understand. It just kind of happens sometimes.
What's going on there?
But it's weird.
Stephen did, this Tai Chi when he was very young and for many, many years. And as you know, Tai Chi is kind of a moving meditation. And anytime you're meditating, you're opening your chakras. And once you open your chakras, you'll start to have these kinds of experiences where you'll spontaneously astral project sometimes, or you'll hear into the astral realm. We call it clairaudience, where you can hear people talking.
I've had them my whole life.
Oh, I get people talking to me all the time.
And so this was happening a lot to Stephen through his early adulthood. But the thing that was different, when we got together, I started studying the same thing. I started meditating and working towards it. And I also was able to start astral projecting too. And what I found was it was fun. I could travel around. I could go scuba diving without drowning, nice things like that. But with Stephen, so often he would get astral, and these beings that are plaguing him and they're there. It's like they're just on the other side of the veil, waiting for the veil to come down so they can approach him again. I think that's how they kind of monitor us in the astral world, to kind of keep tabs on the family. And in Stephen's case, they're still at it. They're still visiting him while he's astral or on
that makes sense.
I'm an extremely vivid dreamer. I mean, I have all the aspects. I have the vocals, I have the sound, I have everything, the interaction, touch.
I can smell, I get the color, I can feel, unfortunately I can feel everything. I actually had to be put on medication because I kept having horrifyingly brutal and violent, vivid nightmares of being murdered and all kinds of stuff, like disemboweled and drawn and quartered, and I've died probably 2 billion ways. It's very unpleasant.
Yeah, I understand that too. Yeah. Quite frankly, I think, if I had any say in things, I would make sure that, children that are being born, that they stay off the computer for at least the first 5 or 6 years and learn how to read a book, and learn also how to do yoga and do Tai Chi. I mean, learn how to basically slow down the brainwave patterns, because we're going about it the wrong way as far as I can see. When we grew up, there wasn't the same type of access to computers and smartphones, and you have to slow down the brainwave patterns to be able to relax and to be able to actually get into the astral realm. We can't. We're doing it the wrong way. You can't do it. You can't put the cart before the horse. You have to, right now we're in 40 brainwave cycles per second because we're in beta state because we're on the computer, right? But when you're doing Tai Chi, you're down about 7 to 11 cycles, and that's when you get into things where you can actually hear, and basically, almost all of the inventions that have occurred, like Tesla inventing, alternating current and whatnot, they always occur in the alpha state. We have all this access to what's called the Akashic records, but they're only accessible in certain brainwave frequencies.
Well, I don't even want to know what my brain's doing because this son of a bitch never sleeps. I mean, I can't. I've never in my life really, except maybe I think my mom said when I was an infant I could sleep. That's it. I can't get my brain to slow down. If I don't watch it, like I have to like heavily medicate myself to maybe get 3 hours of sleep a night. It's go. It's just going. And I can't, the only thing that I've somewhat been able to find is I kind of do sensory deprivation, I guess. I wear a headband. And so it blocks out all the light, and then it has built-in speakers, and I put rain on repeat, so it just keeps making rain sounds to try to get me to focus, because I can't, if I don't, I'll go days and just not sleep. Nothing ever slows down.
I had that for years.
It became behind your head.
It became for me. What happened was I literally became afraid to sleep.
Yeah.
Because when I was just starting to get really relaxed, and I didn't have this as a kid. I was just fine. I was a good sleeper. But then all of a sudden, it's like I probably did something wrong at a certain point, and I'm starting to get really relaxed and be like a bang 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 behind my head, right, and then you're alert, right? And then you kind of be afraid to go to sleep. So, yeah.
Oh, I call that my second wind. If I miss that opportunity, that 5-minute span where I might be able to sleep, and then I'm done and I'm wide awake. And what I don't get is I'd be scared to death if my brain actually did simmer down, like you're saying, and get down on that, lower. I don't know what would happen, because so much stuff all the time. I mean, I have things that wake me up talking to me or pushing me or touching me, or things that just kind of move, and all this weird crap happens to me all the time. I don't even want to know what would happen if my brain slowed down, if it makes it worse.
How old are you, by the way?
33.
Yeah, you better get this taken care of pretty soon, so.
Yeah, I am and we have tried everything. I even got to where I wouldn't watch TV. I wouldn't listen to the radio. I wouldn't watch certain things on TV. I wouldn't.
Yeah, anything that jacks you up, kind of, yeah.
And it just seems like it doesn't make a difference. It's just that sometimes my body's like, you're not sleeping today.
Really try Tai Chi and yoga. I mean, literally, it will, because you can't do Tai Chi without slowing down your brainwave cycles. So, you try it for a couple months. If it doesn't work for you, then so be it. But you can only do Tai Chi and remember Tai Chi by slowing down your brainwaves. There's no other way to do it. So it works.
Sometimes, and there's sometimes where everybody's like, oh, I just, I sit and it's quiet. I'm like, there is no quiet. I don't know what quiet is.
Right.
I ask my husband sometimes, because he'll just be sitting there. I'm like, what do you think? He's like, nothing. I'm like, you've been sitting there for an hour and you weren't thinking anything? He's like, no, why? I was like, hell, I'm figuring out, laundry. Why does a duck quack? What happens when you do this to a platypus? What happens about that? Like,
you can't stop your brain.
Stuff. That one time in 3rd grade when that girl, like, what would have happened if I turned left instead of right? Like, it just goes and it goes and it goes and it goes. And it's like, the only way I can get it to somewhat be quiet is, like I said, whenever I cover my eyes, because it's the same thing. Whenever I try to sleep, if I don't have my eyes covered, any little light or anything, my husband says I have paper eyelids because I can see it and it wakes me up. I'm super light sleeper and all of that stuff. And it's just without that rain sound. And I even have to actively focus and be like, listen to the rain, listen to the rain, listen to the rain. I have to tell myself, because I'll even catch myself where I'll be like, oh, what are we doing tomorrow? I wonder if I need to go do that. And I catch myself thinking about all these things, and the sound of the rain disappears. I literally cannot hear it, even though it is blasting in my ears. It's gone until I have to be like, no, bring it back. Like, shh. Okay. It's horrible.
In Chinese medicine, one of the things that's very, very simple is called the 5 elements. And, it's, when you have an overly active brain, which is considered to be with the liver, and the, especially, like late at night, the liver is like a lot of artists, they're most, they do most of their best work like between 11 p.m. and like 1 a.m. in the morning, right? It's when the liver is the most active. Right. So the thing is to get around that is you have to transform that energy all this mental energy into physical energy. And so what you do basically,
that'd be nice.
Basically you take away that, incessive, mental energy and you transform it into fire, which is the heart. And the heart, what you do, you take.
Oh, I don't have one of those. Maybe that's my problem.
Yeah, you take the wood. Wood transfers into fire. Okay, and when you transfer it into fire, it means like moving or doing something physical.
I think what it will do. Mention that Stephen was an acupuncturist.
I was a state licensed
20 years.
For 20 years.
Well, I'm virtually a potato.
So
I have my massage therapy degree.
No, oh, cool.
Yeah, well, I did my 6 years of training for and I was 20 years as an acupuncturist. So I've treated dogs, cats, and humans. So I know this stuff like the back of my hand. Plus, also all my metaphysical training and my Tai Chi gave me a huge advantage in treating people.
Yeah, I need to find a grounding mechanism, I guess. So right now I'm a little different because like I said, I'm looking for a job. So I'm pretty much home. I'm a hermit. I do everything around the house, but I literally don't leave. I don't even go outside. It's outside unless I'm picking my kid up from practice. Hence the pasty skin. I don't exist. People, if it wasn't for the fact that every now and then you see me on social media, they probably think I was fake. And I don't, like, mentally, it's like I have to wear myself down mentally, but I have absolutely zero physical energy. All day long, I am exhausted. I am beat. I am so tired, but I can't sleep. I can't nap. I can't do anything like that.
Sleeping, yeah.
And then, then at night, I am wide awake. I perk right up. It's like I am made to be a night owl, and I don't know how to I literally, since I've been off work, I've been doing the laundry, the dishes, doing everything I can except vacuum the floor, wake everybody up at like 2 a.m. because that's when I'm good. And then everybody else gets up. I don't wake up till like noon because I'm a bum. But I have this thing, which is why I don't do my massage therapy. So I have my degree for therapeutic and clinical massage therapy, but I never practiced. So I graduated, and a month later I popped out a baby. So I never took my state board exam. So that's when I found out I don't like people. Okay, hold on. I don't like touching people or
that sounds so familiar.
Or because if I so much as go to the grocery store just to run in, grab a thing of milk and walk out, I am so overwhelmed because I can feel everyone and everything around me. And it just soaks in, and I don't know how to get it out.
You're an empath. Yes. Your natural empath is basically overwhelming you.
I hate it.
Right.
But it's horrible. But I mean, on one hand, it can work out to my advantage because if I'm around somebody, I'm really good at getting what I want. I learned that very early on in life that I could get whatever I wanted from whoever I wanted as long as they were in the vicinity.
You'd be a good salesperson then, maybe.
You have to have the energy and you want to deal with people. That's two things.
What's funny is I actually, when I'm around some people, if it's like the right people or just a few people, I love it.
Sure.
It's a negative. And no one wants a salesperson to approach them. So every time I would walk to someone, I would automatically feel the uncomfortable feeling that they're feeling because they don't want to say anything because and I would always I would know.
Yep.
All the time. And it's horrible. But whenever I would use my massage therapy stuff, we would have people come in and I would work on them, and everyone loved me. Everyone loved me because no matter what your problem was, you didn't even have to tell me. I knew.
You could feel it. Huh?
I could feel it. I could walk and be like, oh, it's your ankle today. Or they'd be like, oh, my leg over here, my knee or whatever. And I'm like, well, yeah, your knee. But I'm like, I think your shoulder's a little bit, let me work on that too. And they're like, oh, I didn't even realize it. I'm like, I know. Mm-hmm. The problem with that is once I touched them, I had it.
That's
so they would leave fine. Mm-hmm. My knee would hurt. My shoulder would hurt until eventually it would go away a few hours later, but it was very uncomfortable for those few hours.
Right.
I had that happen to me on several different occasions. Yeah, I was really, there was never a knee that I couldn't either cure or help.
Yep.
I was able to like fix everybody's needs, including dogs,
Yeah, but
sometimes I would absorb that energy because I'm empathic myself, quite empathic, and I would absorb that. And part of my healing ability was to absorb the energy and then to get rid of it afterwards,
See, that's the part I haven't figured out.
Yeah.
I haven't figured out the getting rid of. And like, I even had a boss of mine, he developed really bad anxiety and he would have panic attacks. And one day I was getting uncomfortable because he kept having panic attacks around me. And he was a very shy, reserved guy. He didn't really talk to anybody, didn't interact. He didn't want anybody touching him, whatever. He's one of those people, which I get now. But it used to drive me crazy because I would then get very uncomfortable because I could feel that he was, and I'm like, I could fix it. Just let me fucking fix it because it's driving me nuts until you just let me do it. So one day we were out at lunch and he started having a panic attack. And I was like, I need you to do me a favor. I was like, I know it sounds silly. I'm like, can I please just give me your wrist or your forearm? I just need to touch your skin for just a minute. And I promise you will feel better. I promise. I was like, can you do that for me? Can you suck it up and just let me touch your arm for a second? And he was like, okay. So I, put my arm in there and then I call it siphoning because it's like, you can just breathe, you can feel it, I know you probably know what I'm talking about. You can breathe it in and you can feel it coming in and you can feel it traveling all throughout you. And then you could feel yours coming out and going out your hand into wherever you're touching on them. And so you can kind of transfer that. And he felt better. And then instantly my heart rate went up. I was shaking. My face got real red. He thought I was, having a moment. And I was like, no, I'm like, it's okay. It'll go away. I was like, but do you feel better? And after I did it that one time, then he would sometimes just like call me into the office, be like, I need you to do that thing again. Can you get rid of this? And so I was like his own little like personal anti-anxiety siphon.
Were you ever like a fan of like the original Star Trek series? The ones with, Captain Kirk and all that kind of stuff?
Never seen it.
Never seen it? Okay, the original Star Trek.
Never seen Star Wars either.
He's too young.
Star Trek, yeah, you're too young. Yeah, we're 30 years.
Well, I know what it is. Yeah. I just never.
Yeah, we're big fans.
There's an episode called The Empath, which is really interesting. These aliens are trying to decide whether this race of people are worthy of saving, and it's if you ever get to see it, it's the original one with William Shatner and with Leonard Nimoy.
Oh yeah.
It's called The Empath. If you ever get to see that episode,
I'll look it up. It's
kind of like what you're describing. I mean, it's happened to me many times, many times. I mean, it's like, yeah, I had patients frequently call me, I'm in such pain. I got this going on. And then they come and see me the very next day and they're already fixed. It's like, it's like I always call you when I'm really in pain. And then the next day I come in and I'm fixed. It's like, yeah, I know you're telling me, it's just like, I don't even have to be there, so.
I call people and yeah, I'm the same way. I had, a couple times someone, I mean, they were like 2 hours away from me. And I'm always like, I'm very warm all the time. I don't know if it's an energy thing or what, but my body literally runs super hot all the time. It's like I'm constantly sweating. It's awful. And one day,
wait till you have menopause, honey.
Oh, I know. I've already decided. I was like, I think I'm just going to cap myself at that point.
You had a hysterectomy. You're already in menopause, right?
No. I still have my ovary. I still have one ovary. Okay. One exploded on me. But I have one, so they were trying to keep me from having that happen. But I'm always warm. And one day, I mean, I was freezing. I had like fuzzy socks, fuzzy-footed pajama with the hood up. I didn't even have the air on in the house. I was under 2 blankets. I was so cold. I mean, I was like, what the heck? And I kept thinking about this friend of mine, and I was like, motherfucker. I was like, I bet it's that. So I sent a message. I was like, what the hell are you doing? And you need to stop.
They're camping and they're freezing their
And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, what are you doing? I said, I am so cold. I am freezing. Well, they're a maintenance worker and they were replacing fans in a freezer for 3 hours. And I was like, I knew it was you butthole.
Yeah.
I was like, seriously? Or like another one where, I mean, I was in my car at lunch one day and I was just sitting there. I was fine, minding my own beeswax, eating my lunch. And I just got so angry. I mean, I was livid and I was
like, why?
Couldn't figure out what was going on. I'm like, yeah, I was like, what is happening? And so I sent the same person. Apparently I must have a connection with this person. So I sent the same person a message. I was like, are you having a bad day by chance? And they called me immediately. They were like, how the hell did you know that? I was like, well, how did I know what exactly? And so what would happen was they were walking and they stepped on like a tack that had fell on the floor and was cussing at it while they were pulling it out of their foot while the phone beeped and I sent them a message. So I was right there, like live time.
Yep.
And I don't understand that because they weren't even close to me. They were like 2 hours away.
Yeah, exactly. Like I wanted to, before we end, I wanted to like, about the automatic writing stuff. We forgot to even talk about this.
Oh yeah.
My mom, when I was 9 years old, she picked me up from elementary school and she was just bawling. And I said, Mommy, what's wrong? And she said, well, my mother just died. Well, Grandma, she's in England, And I said, well, I was contacted. I went into a trance. I was contacted by automatic writing. And I was told that my mom had just died, right? So like a day later, I told my dad, and my mom was still upset. But a day later, we got a call from England, and sure enough,
that's when official alert arrived.
Yeah, her mom had like fallen down some cobblestone stairs and broke her hip and died. And then about 8 or 9 years later, my grandfather died, and the same kind of thing happened. My mom knew, she was told. Old Glegley contacted her, and then my Uncle Clifford, the same thing. So like I say, these are the kind of things, things that, again, this is thousands and thousands of miles away, and I saw other stuff my mom wrote too that, that she didn't have any ability to know apart from, the pitch, but she knew because she was contacted. Like I do it. I tried automatic writing and I didn't like it. I felt like it was too invasive. Yeah,
I feel like I wouldn't like not being in control.
So for me, it's like, I do my automatic writing through music. When I get the feeling, I
write poetry.
Yep, I do. Not
a lot of people know that.
I do music. That's what I do. And Leslie knows how good I am.
That's right.
So
channels this beautiful music out of his hands. It's amazing.
There is. I've noticed sometimes there's music where I hear some music, you listen to it, you're like, oh, I like the song or whatever. But sometimes you run across some and it might not even have words. It's just, and I can feel it. I mean, it's like every cell in my body is feeling whatever this person is doing. And there was an artist when I went to CryptidCon last year that did these paintings, and I just kept walking by his booth and I didn't know why. I was like, I just kept finding myself, no matter where I went, I ended up at his booth. And I went to this one section and there was this one photo and I don't know what it was, but when I looked at it, it was like I could see, like it could see into me and I could see it. It's like we were connected and I don't have any idea why. Yep. It was so weird. And to me, it's just so strange. And it's like that with people where weird thing. The same person I was just talking about from forever, and I have to keep calling them because I'm like, stop doing shit. The same person, when I met them, like we met each other, like they walked by and I walked by and I swore I recognized them. I have no idea who they were, but I swore I knew they knew me, I knew them. It's like we had met before.
I think sometimes like when I first met Steven, I felt this instant connection to him. Almost like
you were lost and you found
I don't know if it's true or not, but I felt like maybe we'd known each other in a past life.
The interesting thing is that her ex-husband and myself are born the same day, the same year, almost the same hour.
That is so cool.
Both July 20
within 2 hours of each other.
July 28th, 1960, within 2 hours of each other. And the only two men that Leslie says she ever fell in love with on sight was her ex-husband and me.
And I think I was confused with the first guy. I thought it was him, I guess. And it turned out to be the wrong guy, I mean,
how strange is that?
I can't say anything. My husband is 23 years older than me. So there was no way that was going to be a thing. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like you see them and it was like I knew how they were and they knew things about me, but we never talked about it. Or they knew to avoid certain things and I knew to avoid certain things, but we never discussed it. It was just really weird.
I bet if you did any past life regressions together or whatever, you'd probably find that you've known each other before.
Yeah, I've decided
there's got to be something. So you were born in
1991
then, around that area?
I was 90.
90, okay.
Yeah, my birthday's at the end of the year.
Yeah, so you're the horse then.
So, yeah. I mean, I guess it could be called worse. So. Some of the stuff, like what you're saying with like the death thing, I was with my mom's house and my grandpa was at a facility. He was at a hospital about an hour and a half away. He had Alzheimer's and it was just bad news. And I was sleeping on her couch because I was in the midst of a divorce. And I went to sleep. I woke up and I was looking at myself and it was weird. I was like, okay, this is not my body, but I know I think I know who I am. And like my arms and my feet were strapped to this hospital bed and I couldn't move. I remember there was a nurse and I was screaming at the nurse because I got to where I was like, I can't breathe. I couldn't breathe. I was trying, like gasping, and everything started to kind of go fuzzy. And then I got the weird like black circle that was like shrinking. And like me, I was screaming at the nurse, trying to get the nurse's attention to get help. But apparently she couldn't hear or see me. And I was like in his body. And then the circle just went and it closed. And as soon as it closed, I shot up in bed and the phone rang. And I told my mom, she didn't say that. She walked around the corner. I was like, Grandpa's dead. She was like, how did you know that? They just called me. I was like, I could feel it. I knew it happened. So like, I've been there. Yep. And then it's like, boom, and it happens. And that's happened a lot more than I would like to say. That's not a very fun spot, but.
Yeah, it must not be.
I've had once or twice in my life, I've had precognition, where I've actually known something about a year and a half before it actually happened. And it's like one of the weirdest things. I wasn't into politics at all. Okay. This is the 2000 election. And it was like in 1998, halfway through 1998, I had this dream where I saw, George Bush, winning the 2000 election, but it was a younger George Bush, looked like him, but I didn't know what young George Bush looked like. But I told my parents, I said, when it came down to election time, I said, don't worry, George Bush is going to win the election. But I actually saw George W. Bush a year and a half before he was even running. I saw him win the freaking election.
Knew who he was.
I already knew who was going to win.
That's so crazy. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I have one that keeps happening that scares me because it's not happened yet. But I've had the same dream over and over. And it involves like an active shooter situation in an auditorium that I'm at, which kind of freaks me out. So every time I go to one of these conventions where they put on their stuff, I won't go in until I look to see what it looks like because it's the only time I go out of the house. So I've got to try to figure out, I'll know exactly what it is if I see it, but I'm too scared to go in and listen to any of the speakers until I see what it looks like. So I know that it's not the same one,
right?
Because I refuse to go in there. And I mean, but people used to hate it because guys hated me. Well, they should have hated themselves because here's the problem. I knew when they were running around and they never had to say a word, but I always knew. I could always tell. I would always figure out who, where, when. I mean, and they would, oh my gosh, they never could get away with it and they hated it. But maybe they should have just, not been assholes.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, people are like, what? I'm like, you can't. I'm like, I know when you're lying. It's like, I just know.
Yes, you can feel
I was like, if anybody's close to me, they can't lie to me because I can tell.
I had that power.
Leslie used to have that power as a young girl.
When I was a little kid, I could hear the difference between a lie and the truth. I say hear because I would experience it like a vibration, like hearing is a vibration. But I really wouldn't hear it. I would kind of feel it with my aura,
Yep.
And
I know exactly what you're saying.
You know what I mean, right? And so if someone told me the truth, it would make this kind of feeling on the aura.
It would almost be like, okay, when somebody who is very good with music is listening and somebody gets a little out of pitch and they can hear that. I can't hear that with that, but it's the same thing. Like kind of like that. I know exactly what you're saying. So like going and there's just something and they might sound normal to everybody else. They might not know anything, but it's almost like it makes you physically uncomfortable for some reason. Almost like that infrared sound stuff or something.
Discordancy versus
I should tell your listeners, if they want to, we have, Stephen's family has so many bizarre experiences that we can never cover them all in any one podcast. So I wrote on our Instagram page, I've wrote these little series of each one a different experience. And our Instagram page is at leslie.shaw.author. And Leslie is Leslie and Shaw, SHAW. And
for everybody out there too, real quick, I am going to put all of their information down in the description. So I just want to make sure that they are aware it's all going to be there. So all the links that they have given me to reach out to them, just go down in the description wherever you're listening, notes, whatever you want to call it, and hook them up, man. All right, sorry,
that's the way to do it. Is visit if you want to hear the entire family's everything.
Then our website is whotheyarebook.com.
Yeah, where we have some excerpts of the book and blogs and
quite a few actually.
And also any links to any podcasts we've done, we put them there too.
And then our book, which is
the Amazon link is going to be in the description as well.
If anyone wants to reach out to us, feel free to reach out on Instagram or on our email. We'd be happy to talk to people because I kind of collect experiences now with after we wrote the book, we would get approached by a lot of people. And in fact, we have a friend, Jean, who I wrote a whole series about her experiences. She's another abductee.
And Tori also.
And Tori.
These are people that we've actually met and actually physically sat down and actually. I
wanted to say something about Jean, which is so funny. Stephen, when they took him as a child, they were so nice. They put him back in bed and brought the covers up and tucked him in.
Aww.
Our poor friend Jean, she would wake up face down on the wooden floor next to her bed. It's like they'd just drop her there,
Oh man, that's a bummer.
I know. And she's also being visited. I mean, she thinks by the tall grays as well.
She's done a lot of. She's an artist, so she's done a lot of oil paintings.
Yeah, so each one of the little tiles on Instagram has one of her awesome paintings.
That's awesome.
Sumi.
Sumi is her mentor. Sumi was her abductor when she was young, and over the years, she's kind of become like a mentor to her. And they do healing for her. They actually have she had a terrible back injury that has just healed. And now she just used to have to have a walker. Now she's able to use a cane.
What the hell? What are my aliens doing? Come on, help me out here.
She also has all these crystals and these gems and these rocks.
Everything in her house is growing.
That continue to keep on growing. I mean, we have before and after pictures. They just keep on growing.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking like
ley line
minerals. Like she's got this piece of amber. And it's growing like an extra like hood on the top of it. And shells are regenerating and deer horns are growing and crystals are growing. Yeah. Everything is weird.
And then Tori's got her own different stuff that's going on too. But you see, so anyways, up in where we live, there's a lot of interesting stuff happening. We're very close to Giant Rock, which used to be the biggest boulder in the world, and then the Integratron is like right next door. And then the 29 Palms military base, which I've done duty on a couple different times. It's the world's biggest.
It's like a UFO hot zone too. A lot of people see them there,
I've seen the black helicopters, by the way. Black helicopters are real back about 25 years ago.
And they're silent. So they must be reverse engineering, alien technology to have a silent helicopters,
I knew somebody that they just did, I think it was a year or two ago or a few years ago. I wish I could think of who it was. Oh my gosh, they're going to kill me. But they did a documentary and they were out asking questions and that kind of stuff. And everywhere they went, there were black helicopters everywhere, just following them around. And so they would just tell the crew, they're like, to hell with what we're doing. If you see these black helicopters, you fucking record that. Like, you film that stuff because we want that. And at first they're like, if they would have just not done anything, we wouldn't have been as driven to go out there and investigate. But since there was so much of a presence and they were making it seem very sketchy and they were real nervous and stuff, they were like, oh, this is definitely maybe something.
Were they soundless or did they?
As far as I knew, they were still loud.
Okay, all right. Now, these ones that we saw, actually, the only reason we knew they were there, we were partying with about 6 or other people. We were partying for a friend of ours, birthday party. Yeah. We had just gone to the Integratron, then we went out to Giant Rock, and the full moon was just rising, and from the military base, these two black objects, which were helicopters, were backlit by the full moon, and they basically did a pattern. Basically, they went around Giant Rock and they went back to the military base, and they're about 200 feet above us. But the only reason we knew that they were there is because they're being backlit by the moon. They were absolutely soundless. We would have had no clue, period, that they were there. If it were like no moon up, they could have gone over our heads and we wouldn't even have known. And I did 6 years in the military, in the CBs, and I did stuff with the Marines too. I did helicopter evac type stuff with the old style, like, Hueys and choppers. But, these things, black, you wouldn't even have known they were there, and like I say, this was like about 2005. So this was like a while ago, but I can tell you for a fact that they do exist.
Yep.
That's crazy. Yeah. I can't even.
It's real.
Yeah.
And then,
it just amazes me, the stuff that's hidden.
Like thousands of years ago, the aliens used to pretend to be gods, right? Because they could,
and get away with it.
My
thing is, I'm like, but did they really pretend? Did they really need to pretend?
Well, that was easy to control humans that way, because,
people would have whatever they believed in if they showed up. I just don't know if they would have needed to put a whole lot of investment into that theory. Or if they were just like, oh my gosh, like, holy shit, this thing came from the sky. It's got to be something that's not human. And then it all just kind of came in from there.
Right. Well, and so you'd assume they were gods, thousands of years ago, you'd assume they're gods, right?
They all speak your language and they know everything about everything. Yeah. So they're gods.
But now they're pretending to be distant star
travelers. Now they're pretending to be, they're playing space aliens.
Yeah. Now, we think that they're local, aliens, and that they occupy, different bases in our solar system.
Well, it's in
our solar system.
It's in our book. We don't give everything away.
That's right. We don't.
Read the book.
It's a teaser. Yeah. Teasy.
I love teasers. I think we're probably going to have to wrap this up. I've got to go get, do my mom business.
My leg starts to cramp after an hour and a half. So
yeah, mine goes numb and I'm missing 2 of my toes right now because I can't feel them. But thank you guys again so much for coming on.
Very nice. Thank you.
The information's great. I really appreciate your guys' expertise and information because, a lot of this stuff is very difficult. It's hard for me to find other people who either have experienced similar things or have any understanding of it, and all of that. So again, everybody out there listening, Leslie and Steven, the links are going to be down below over to the side, whatever platform you're listening on. Go check them out, hit the links, give them some love, get their book. Support everybody. I'm all about supporting people. We support everybody over here on the show.
Yeah, we had a very nice personal connection with you.
Yes,
that was
thank
nice.
You so much for having us.
Nice. It's like I feel like we've done this before.
And thank you to all your listeners too. And
all right, awesome. If you guys think of anything, or if you're at any, I don't know if you guys go to any events.
Contact.
Just kind of keep posted. I'll try to make my way around.
Going to Contact in the Desert? Are you? We're on the West Coast. Are you on the what part of?
Oh, I'm in Indiana.
Yeah, we're on the West Coast. We're going to go to Contact in the Desert. We're not vendors this year. We were last year. This year, we're just going to go and enjoy all the lectures instead, Yep.
That's what I did at CryptidCon last year. I'm hoping to have a booth this year. I know Indiana Bigfoot Conference, I'll have a booth there. Paracon, I'm just visiting. So I'm hoping to all my little guys up here. If you know anybody who's interested, I'm going to do a shameless plug here. All of these above me, I make those.
Oh, cool.
So they're all crocheted.
So cute.
So I hand do everything. And this one right here is actually ghost hunting equipment. He's in disguise. There's a sensor ball in his face. So if something was to tap him on the nose, his nose lights up. So you know something's there. But all of these are on my store, and I have little aliens. Like you saw this little guy, I always laugh because it's a adopted alien. And on the back, it's got like his favorite food, his favorite color, and his favorite animal.
So
this
cute.
one was here. His favorite food's pizza. His favorite color is red, and his favorite animal is a cow. So he must not be a very violent. We don't do cattle mutilation with this guy.
No cow mutilation.
But
let's not do that.
So I always tell everybody, head over if you see something on there that you like, I got Nessies and all kinds of stuff. Bigfoot, it's all there. Social media, check them out. Make sure you get their book. The link will be down there. And do you guys have anything else that you want to add before we hop off?
Just sincerely, really look into Tai Chi, please.
Yeah, we recommend it.
It takes 3.5 months of consistency of doing something that will change the brain chemistry, and
maybe you'll get
I think that would be a really good thing.
Was it Reiki? Is it Reiki that does something with energy?
Well, Reiki, yeah, it's supposed to be like from Reiki, like you study with a teacher, and the teacher like kind of gives that to you. With Tai Chi, you do it for yourself, okay? Because it's basically you're changing your own brain chemistry. And it's due to the breath and whatever, but it does the human body changes 97% every 365 days. That includes your liver and your heart and your brain cells, apart from your teeth. We don't change out our teeth, unfortunately, but it's like, if you're under stress for any prolonged period of time, like over 3 months, it tends to lock you in.
Yeah.
And then you can't really until you break that cycle by doing something that unbreaks it. So I really recommend that for you. I do.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember. So when my instructor in my massage class, when she realized that I was a little different than everyone else, she actually sent me to a specialized workshop. But I can't remember if it was Reiki. It might have been Tai Chi, but there's something for like a whole weekend. I went to this workshop
Probably Reiki.
Or Qigong.
And it was actually pretty cool. So, but yeah, I'll definitely look up on that and see if I can find some stuff. Yeah, so thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it. If you need anything, just holler, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Bye,
all right,
everybody.
see ya.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. If you wouldn't mind, please take a moment and rate and review the show wherever you're listening. I know it might not seem like much, but it greatly helps the show by allowing us to be found more easily when other listeners search for us. If you have a chance, head on over to www.patreon.com/Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy and become a patron. Members of the Big Show tier get bonus materials, personalized shout-outs, access to the private Discord server, and video versions of episodes, both regular and members only, that are raw and unedited. So they're always a good time. As an added thank you to the Big Show patrons, we also are going to be giving out custom stickers and mini prints after 3 months of membership. I'm currently offering a 7-day free trial, so head on over and see how awesome being a member can be. Before you go, click the link in the description and grab yourself or someone you know some of the self-designed merch, or make a donation to help keep the show going and fund future events and investigations. T-shirts, hoodies, stickers, and magnets can be found on the TeePublic site, and they have sales at least once a month. I believe it is 30 or 35% off. I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly how much, but keep checking back and get them when they're discounts. They have $16 tees, and it's great. For handmade crochet items such as Nessie, Mothman, Aliens, Fresno Nightcrawlers, and the little ghost or a big ghost, as well as pants, swimwear, the best tumblers I have found yet as far as merch is concerned, dresses, office supplies, and more, visit the Square merch store. You can also follow the podcast on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Threads, and TikTok. If you have any questions, topic recommendations, or personal encounters, please don't hesitate to send them in to cryptidscreepsandconspiracy@gmail.com or submit them through the contact form at www.cryptidscreepsandconspiracy.com. I would love to hear from you and share your experience on a special listener episode. Just make sure to specify that I have permission to add your encounter to the show, and let me know whether you would like to have your real name or an alias to maintain confidentiality. Thank you again so much for all your support, and I'll see you next time, my friend.